Hi, welcome to today's video. You needed to have watched Factorizing Quadratics with no A before you come to this one, because I'm going to be speeding through a couple of things that the concepts I covered in there. Okay, alright. Today we're looking at Factorizing Quadratics. Factorizing quads with an A value. Alright, so when I say with an A value, I mean if you've got a quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c, a is anything other than 1. Alright, if it's 1 then it's what I was doing before, but it's a piece of cake. But if it isn't 1 then you have to look at different combinations of things. Okay, so let's start with an easier one first, just to recap. If I've got 2x squared plus x minus 3, and I want to factorize this. Now what I was doing in the previous video, and I suggest you carry on doing it here, is I look at the factors of a and c. So if I look at the factors of a, the coefficient of x squared, well 2 has got factors 2 and 1, right? And then if I look at the factors of c, forget about the sign for now, c, 3, has got factors 3 and 1, okay? And I want to combine them so that they get to be 1. b here is positive 1, right? So I'm going to do this wrong at first, because sometimes you'll hit on the combination first try, but I want to show you, if you don't, you just carry on going until you do. So, if I do 2 times 3, 2 times 3 is 6, right? And then 1 times 1 is 1. Now 6 and 1 will never give me 1. It'll either give me 7 or 5. Are you with me? So, 2 times 3 and 1 times 1 either gives me 7 or 5. So I can never get 1 from that combination. So that's not going to work. Well, let's try crossing them. If I do 2 times 1 and 1 times 3. Well, 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 3 is 3. Now, 3 and 2 will either give me 5 or 1. That's what I want. I want 1. Are you with me? Okay. So, I want positive 1. Well, you can either do it by process of elimination over here with the signs, okay? Or you can use the trick that I showed in the previous video. I like using the trick, so I'm going to stick to that, okay? So there's my brackets. Now in this one, I've got, let's put the 2x in there, and in this one I'm going to put the 1x, the invisible one. I don't have to write the 1. Are you with me? Okay. Now, this is the only extra thing that you have to worry about. I alluded to this in my previous video of how to factorize quadratics, but now you really have to pay attention with this. If I want them multiplied by each other, they can't be in the same brackets. Okay? I want the red one multiplied by the blue 3. So I want the red one multiplied by the blue 3. If I had to put that blue 3 there, this one will never be multiplied by that 3. Okay? Because I'm multiplying this bracket by this one. I'm not multiplying them inside the bracket. So in order for them to be multiplied by each other, they need to be in the opposite brackets. So then this 3 needs to be in that position. Now, same way. I want the red 2 multiplied by the blue 1. Okay? Now, so that leaves only one space that the blue 1 can go. It has to be in the opposite bracket of the 2. Okay? If I want them multiplied together, they cannot be in the same bracket. Okay? Right. So, that's it. I've put the numbers in the right position. Now all I have to do is allocate the signs. Well, if you remember from my tip of the last video, that is negative, so it tells me the signs are different. This is positive, so it says it goes to the biggest combination. Now this is where you have to be careful, the biggest combo. What's bigger, 2x times 1 or 3 times x? Well, I hope you're all shouting, sir, it should be 3 times x is bigger than 2x times 1. Okay, so to make this positive, 3x positive, that has to be positive. Okay, the biggest combo. And then that means that this one, the signs are different, has to be negative. Let me say that again. Which combo is bigger? 2 times 1 or 3 times x? 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is bigger, so that has to have the positive. But the sign's different, so that has to have the negative. You with me? Okay, a little bit confusing. Let's try another one. Okay, e.g. 2, right? Slightly trickier. 12x squared minus 7x minus 10. Okay, now this is going to get a little bit hectic because I've got 3 groups of factors here and 2 groups of factors of that guy. Okay, but if you can handle this, then you know what you're doing. Alright, so let's take a look at factors of 12. factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Okay? Factors of 10 are 1 and 10, and then 2 and 5. Okay? Right, I'm going to go a little bit faster with this in order for us to get this. Okay, so let's try. 1 times 1 is 1, 12 times 10 is 120. Never get close to 7. Okay. 12 times 1 is 12, 1 times 10 is 10. 12 and 10 either gives me 22 or 2, not 7. So, 1 times 2 is 2, 12 times 5 is 60, huge, never get to 7. 2 times 12 is 24, 1 times 5, never get to 7. So 1 and 12 doesn't work with either of these. You with me? Okay, you can replay that if I went too fast. Let's do this one. 2 times 1 is 2, 6 times 10 is 60, you never get to 7. 6 times 1 is 6, 2 times 10 is 20, 6 and 20 never give me 7 either. 2 times 2 is 4, 6 times 5 is 30, 4 and 30 never give me 7. 2 times 5 is 10, 6 times 2 is 12, I either get 22 or 2, I won't get 7. So 2 and 6 doesn't work. You with me? Here we go. 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 10 is 40, 40 never get close to 7. 3 times 10 is 30, 4 times 1 is 4, never get close to 7 either. So 1 and 10 doesn't work with that. Well, let's try this one. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 5 is 20, and never get close to 7. 3 times 5 is 15, 4 times 2 is 6, sorry, 4 times 2 is 8, there's 7. 3 times 5 is 15, 4 times 2 is 8. Now, when you get better at this, you'll be able to hit on these much faster, okay? I went through all the combinations, okay? But that's the level that you've got to be dealing at. You've got to be doing it in your head. Quickly, boom, 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 boom. And if they're too far, don't work it out exactly in your head. Just say, okay, it's too far, let's move on to the next one. Too far, move on to the next one, okay? You'll find that you'll start to recognize when they're closer, when they're further, okay? So, we finished. All it is identifying what you need to do. So let's write it down. So I've got the two brackets, right? The factors of x are 3x and 4x. Always put those in first. And then I decide, right, I want the 3 times the 5, so the 5 can't be there, it has to be there. Right? I want the 4 times the 2, so the 2 has to be there. It cannot be in the same bracket as the 4. You with me? Okay? And we are done. That sign says the signs are different. This goes to the biggest combination. What's bigger? 3 times 5 or 4 times 2? 3 times 5 is bigger than 4 times 2. So 3 times 5 is bigger. Signs are different. Done. Okay. Whew. Okay, that's quite long-winded. Right. That's all you have to... The only issue is when you have lots and lots of factors. You have to try a whole bunch of things, okay? You'll get better at recognizing to try things that are closer to each other when you have a small number in there, and things that are further from each other or have a bigger range when you have a large number in there. You'll get used to recognizing the range of the numbers in relation to b. Okay, but you've got to practice this in order to do that. Right. Let's do one more. Okay. On the notes, I have listed there the steps of how to find it when you are dealing with quadratics where a is not 1. So the steps are: number 1, find factors of a and c. Number 2, try the combos of timesing each other to get b. If you want the factors, they can't be in the same bracket, so you decide on the signs from the shortcut. Piece of cake, huh? Okay, last example, e.g. Alright, 3x squared plus 4x minus 4. Okay, I did a hard example for example 2, and an easy example for example 3. Doesn't make sense, Mr. Roosh. But hey, that's how we're going. So, factors of 3 are 3 and 1, right? Factors of 4, again, don't worry about the sign, are 4 and 1 and 2 and 2. Okay? So, I want them to get together to make 4. Okay? So, I've got this here. Well, let's quickly do it. 3 times 4 is 12, 1 times 1 is 1. I either get 13 or 11. Okay? 3 times 1 is 3, 1 times 4 is 4. I either get 7 or 1. Not going to get 4. So 4 and 1 don't work with 3 and 1. You with me? Let's try this. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. 6 and 2 either gives me 8 or 4. Okay? So I want 3 times 2 and 1 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. You with me? Okay. So let's write them down. I've got here 3x. I've got here 1x. Okay? I've got here I want the 3 times the 2, so it can't be in the same bracket. I want the 1 times the 2, so it can't be in the same bracket. Okay? Now I look at the signs. This sign tells me the signs are different. This sign says the biggest one is positive. Alright, so what's bigger, 3 times 2 or 2 times 1? 3 times 2 is bigger, so the signs must be different. Must be that. And you finish. Okie dokie. Alright. You need this. You need to be able to do this, because when you get into solving quadratics, when you get into sketching parabola, when you get into simplifying fractions, when you get into almost everything in year 11, when you're talking about algebra, and year 12 when you're talking about algebra, this is going to play a huge factor in your education. I'm corny sometimes. Anyway, go check out more notes. Remember, I'm here for you.